Have you ever pondered about the depth of wisdom in Surah Abasa? Today, we invite you to embark on a journey of understanding and reflection. Surah Abasa, the 80th chapter of the Quran, was revealed in the holy city of Mecca. Its name, derived from the Arabic word Abasa, translates to "he frowned," a reference to a profound incident involving the Prophet Muhammad. This event, deeply etched in Islamic history, involved a blind man who sought the Prophet's guidance. The Prophet, engaged in a conversation with the Quraysh leaders at the time, frowned and turned away, an action that was later addressed by Allah in this surah. This surah, though short with just 42 verses, is rich with wisdom and lessons about empathy, compassion, and the importance of not judging by outward appearances. As we delve deeper, we will uncover the profound lessons embedded in Surah Abasa. The surah begins with a striking depiction of a frowned face. This is not just any face, but that of the Prophet himself, an image that immediately captures our attention. The first 4 verses of Surah Abasa present a moment of profound human emotion and interaction. The verses read as follows: "He frowned and turned away, because there came to him the blind man. And what would make you know that he would purify himself, or be reminded and the reminder would benefit him?" These are powerful words, and they refer to an incident when the Prophet was deeply engaged in trying to convey the message of Islam to the leaders of Quraysh. In the midst of this crucial conversation, a blind man, Abdullah ibn Maktum, came seeking guidance. The Prophet, absorbed in his mission, frowned and turned away, a reaction that was noticed by Allah and is immortalized in these verses. Now, let's delve deeper into the meaning of these verses. The frowning face of the Prophet is not a reflection of his character, but rather a moment of human fallibility. It serves as a reminder that even the Prophet, a paragon of virtue, could momentarily overlook the needs of a sincere seeker of knowledge in favor of addressing the influential. The verses convey a profound lesson about the importance of treating everyone equally, regardless of their social status or physical abilities. Abdullah ibn Maktum, despite his blindness, was a man of great faith and sincerity. His blindness did not prevent him from seeking knowledge and guidance, and his determination should have been met with respect and attention. These verses are a reminder that every individual has the ability to purify themselves and benefit from guidance. The Prophet's momentary lapse was a lesson not just for him, but for all of us, highlighting the importance of treating everyone with respect and dignity and not underestimating anyone's capacity for growth and enlightenment. These verses remind us to never belittle anyone, as every individual has their own worth. As we proceed, the surah delves into profound reflections about human existence. In verses 5 to 16, the Quran invites us to contemplate the miracle of creation, the inevitability of death, and the promise of resurrection. Let's take a moment to delve into these verses. Verse 5 begins with the question, "Does man think that we will not assemble his bones?" This rhetorical question serves as a reminder of the divine power that shapes our existence. It provokes us to reflect on our own mortality and the transient nature of life. Verses 6 to 8 then celebrate the miracle of human creation, stating, "We have certainly created man in the best of stature." This verse is a testament to the intricate design and perfect balance of the human form, a marvel that encourages us to appreciate our Creator's wisdom. In the following verses, the Quran shifts its focus from life to death, with verse 9 stating, "Then we return him to the lowest of the low." This stark contrast serves as a stark reminder of the cycle of life and death, a reality that we are all bound to experience. The surah then moves on to verses 10 to 16, which discuss the resurrection. The verses state, "On the day when secrets will be put on trial, then man will have no power or any helper." These verses remind us of the day of judgment, a day when our deeds will be assessed and our secrets revealed. These verses collectively highlight the Quran's emphasis on self-reflection and the transitory nature of life. They remind us to be conscious of our actions, mindful of our mortality, and hopeful for our resurrection. Through these verses, we are encouraged to contemplate our origin and ultimate destiny. The surah's profound reflections on life, death, and resurrection serve as an invitation to explore the deeper meanings of our existence and to live with mindfulness and purpose. The surah now transitions into a contemplation of nature and its role in sustaining life. Verses 17 through 32 of Surah Abasa are a profound meditation on the natural world and our deep connection to it. The verses begin by drawing our attention to the miracles of life that we witness every day, but often take for granted. They describe the growth of plants and fruits, the transformation of seeds into lush gardens, and the cycle of day and night, all of which support and nurture our existence. The verses invoke the image of a verdant garden filled with fruits and crops. This is not merely a depiction of nature's bounty, but also a metaphor for the spiritual nourishment that the Quran provides. Just as the earth brings forth its produce to sustain our bodies, the Quran, with its wisdom and guidance, nourishes our souls. As we delve deeper into these verses, we see a recurring emphasis on the inextricable link between the natural world and the divine. The cycle of day and night, for instance, is not just a physical phenomenon, but a sign of God's omnipotence. The rising of the sun and the moon, the alternation of light and darkness, are reminders of the divine order that governs the universe. These verses also underscore the importance of gratitude. We are urged to recognize and appreciate the blessings that we receive from nature, from the food we eat to the air we breathe. The Quran teaches us that every aspect of the natural world, every fruit, every crop, every sunrise and sunset is a gift from God. Finally, the verses encourage humility. In the grand scheme of the universe, we are but a small part, dependent on the natural world for our survival. The Quran uses the imagery of nature to remind us of our place in the cosmos, urging us to be humble and to respect the balance of life. These verses inspire gratitude and humility by reminding us of our dependence on the natural world. We now reach the concluding verses, which present a vivid portrayal of the Day of Judgment. The verses 33 to 42 of Surah Abasa bring us to a potent depiction of the end of times, the Day of Judgment. These verses begin by describing the moment when the trumpet is sounded and every obligation ceases to exist. It is a day when the world as we know it halts and a new reality takes shape. The Quran emphasizes that this day is not a far-off event or a mere metaphor, but a certainty that each soul will experience. The verses paint a picture of the sheer confusion and panic that will grip humanity. People will appear intoxicated, not from wine, but from the sheer terror of the day. The verses go on to describe how relationships will dissolve, how each person will only be concerned with their own fate. A mother will neglect her child, a father his offspring, a husband his wife, and friends will become strangers. This is a far cry from the world we know, where familial and social ties are of paramount importance. But on this day, moral accountability takes precedence over all else. Every person will be held accountable for their actions, their deeds weighed on the scales of justice. The verses further explain that those who led righteous lives, who believed and did good deeds, will be rewarded with a life of eternal bliss. They will be in a garden, high above, safe from the chaos below. They will be with others of their kind, enjoying fruits while reclining on adorned couches. Contrarily, those who denied the truth and led lives devoid of moral rectitude will face severe consequences. The verses warn of a scorching fire, an eternal abode for the transgressors. These verses serve as a sobering reminder of the ultimate reality we must all face. They urge us to introspect, to evaluate our actions, and to strive for a life of righteousness and moral uprightness. For in the end, it is not our worldly possessions or status that will aid us, but our deeds, our belief, and our moral character. Having journeyed through Surah Abasa, what are the key lessons we can take away? This beautifully profound surah teaches us several important lessons that we can apply in our daily lives. Firstly, it underscores the importance of treating everyone with respect and dignity, regardless of their social status or perceived importance. It reminds us that every individual has inherent worth and deserves our kindness and consideration. The surah also encourages self-reflection and gratitude. It prompts us to ponder the wonders of creation and the blessings in our lives, urging us to be grateful for all that we have been given. Lastly, Surah Abasa serves as a stark reminder of moral accountability. It emphasizes that we will be held accountable for our actions in this life, and that we should strive to live righteously and justly. In the profound words of Surah Abasa, we find timeless wisdom that can guide us in our daily lives.